Did you know that Jeep engines are now failing before 60,000 miles? Electrical systems are dying mid-highway, and Stellantis pocketed record billion-dollar profits while loyal owners drowned in repair bills. Stellantis is in a full-blown reliability crisis, and in the next 15 minutes, we're exposing exactly which models are failing, which years to avoid, and how one corporate decision destroyed 80 years of Jeep's legendary reputation almost overnight. What changed? To understand what went wrong, you have to understand what Jeep used to be. This brand didn't start in a marketing meeting. It started on the battlefields of World War II. The Willys MB, the original Jeep, was engineered to survive conditions that would destroy any other vehicle. Mud, desert, mountains, war zones. That DNA carried forward for decades. The CJ series, the XJ Cherokee, still considered one of the most reliable SUVs ever built. The TJ Wrangler. These weren't just vehicles. They were a promise, a reputation built over 80 years of mechanical integrity. Then came the mergers. Chrysler absorbed Jeep, then Fiat absorbed Chrysler. And in January 2021, Fiat Chrysler merged with PSA Group to form Stellantis, one of the largest automotive conglomerates on the planet, managing 14 brands simultaneously. And that's where the story changes. Because when you're running 14 brands across multiple continents, the pressure to cut costs doesn't just exist. It becomes the entire strategy. Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares made no secret of his mission. Aggressive margin targets, ruthless efficiency, shared platforms, consolidated parts. On paper, it sounds like smart business. In practice, it was the beginning of the end for Jeep's legendary reliability. Jeep didn't slowly decline, it was deliberately redirected. The real cause, cost cutting. So let's get specific, because this isn't just a vague story about corporate greed. There are three very clear pillars driving Jeep's reliability collapse, and they all trace back to the same boardroom decisions. Pillar 1. Cheaper suppliers. Under Stellantis, Jeep's supplier network was aggressively restructured. Long-standing relationships with premium component manufacturers were replaced with lower-cost global alternatives, many sourced from regions with significantly less quality control oversight. We're talking about wiring harnesses, sensor clusters, electronic control modules, the nervous system of a modern vehicle, now being sourced at the lowest possible price point. And here's the thing about cheap electrical components in a vehicle that's supposed to handle extreme off-road conditions. They don't last. Heat cycles, vibration, moisture. These components were never engineered to survive what Jeep's marketing team is still promising they can handle. Pillar 2. Parts consolidation. One of Stellantis' core cost-saving strategies is platform and parts sharing across brands. The same components now appear in Jeeps, Rams, Dodges, Fiats, and Chryslers simultaneously. Now, parts sharing isn't inherently bad, but when you're designing a shared component, you're designing it for the average use case across all those brands, not for the extreme demands of a Jeep Wrangler being pushed through a river crossing or a Rubicon trail. The result? Parts that are adequate for a Fiat commuter car are now being installed in vehicles marketed as hardcore off-road machines. That mismatch is catastrophic. Pillar 3. Engineering compromises. Multiple industry insiders and former Stellantis engineers have pointed to shortened development cycles and reduced testing protocols as a direct consequence of the cost-cutting mandate. Vehicles are being pushed to market faster, testing phases are being compressed, and the result is that real-world failure modes, the kind that only show up after 20,000 or 30,000 miles of actual use, are being discovered by customers instead of engineers. This saves money up front, but the cost doesn't disappear. It gets transferred directly to the owner. The failures. And it gets worse. Let's talk about what's actually breaking, because this is where the data gets alarming. Electrical failures. The most widespread and well-documented failure category across recent Jeep models is electrical. The Uconnect infotainment system, Jeep's flagship tech interface, has been plagued with random reboots, complete screen blackouts, and total system failures. We're not talking about minor glitches. Owners are reporting their entire dashboard going dark while driving at highway speed. The 2018 through 2023 Jeep Wrangler JL has accumulated thousands of NHTSA complaints related to electrical system failures. The 2021 and 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee L, a brand new model at launch, immediately began generating reports of electrical gremlins that dealers couldn't diagnose or fix. Body control modules failing, totally integrated power modules. The TIPM, causing everything from random horn honking to fuel pump failures. These aren't edge cases. These are systemic. And here's the part nobody's talking about. Many of these failures are happening between 15,000 and 40,000 miles. on vehicles that are still under warranty, but owners are being told the issues can't be reproduced at the dealership. Engine issues. But the electrical problems? They might not even be the worst of it. The 2.0-liter turbocharged four-cylinder engine, introduced as a modern, efficient replacement for the legendary 3.6-liter Pentastar 4x6 in the Wrangler, has become one of the most controversial power plants in recent automotive history. Owners are reporting premature timing chain wear, oil consumption issues, and in extreme cases, complete engine failure before 60,000 miles on a Jeep Wrangler, a vehicle that's supposed to be a generational purchase. The 3.6-liter Pentastar itself, while more proven, has documented issues with valve train noise, oil leaks from the rear main seal, and cooling system failures in newer production runs, with many pointing to changes in component sourcing as the root cause. And then there's the 4xe, Jeep's plug-in hybrid Wrangler. Positioned as the future of the brand, the 4xe has generated a staggering volume of complaints related to battery management system failures, unexpected shutdowns, and hybrid system malfunctions. Some owners have reported their vehicles entering a complete limp mode, with no warning, stranding them mid-trail. These aren't random bad luck stories. This is a pattern. Software problems. Modern vehicles are essentially computers on wheels, and Jeep's software architecture under Stellantis has become a serious liability. Over-the-air update failures have bricked infotainment systems. Software conflicts between the powertrain control module and the transmission control module have caused erratic shifting behavior. Multiple Jeep models have been issued Technical Service Bulletins, TSBs, for software-related issues that dealers are struggling to resolve because the fixes themselves sometimes introduce new problems. The 2022 Grand Cherokee 4xe received so many software-related complaints in its first year that Consumer Reports dropped its reliability rating to well below average, a stunning fall for a flagship model. And the deeper issue? When software is the interface between the driver and every major vehicle system, a software failure isn't just an inconvenience. It's a safety issue. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, connecting the dots. Now here's the part that matters most. Because you might be thinking, every automaker has reliability issues. Every brand has recalls. Is Jeep really that different? Yes. And here's why. These aren't isolated incidents. They aren't random manufacturing defects. When you map the failure categories, electrical, mechanical, software, they all trace back to the same upstream decisions. Cheaper suppliers introduce lower tolerance components into systems that demand high tolerance. Parts consolidation put commuter-grade hardware into off-road grade applications. Compressed engineering timelines meant failure modes weren't caught before production. These aren't isolated issues. They all trace back to the same decision. The cost-cutting mandate didn't just affect one part of the vehicle. It cascaded through every system simultaneously. And because modern vehicles are so deeply integrated, where the electrical system talks to the engine management system, which talks to the transmission, which talks to the safety systems, one weak link doesn't just cause one failure. It causes a chain reaction. That's why Jeep owners aren't just dealing with one problem. They're dealing with multiple, overlapping, hard-to-diagnose failures that even dealership technicians struggle to isolate. Follow the money. So while all of this is happening to owners, what's happening at the top? In 2021, Stellantis reported a net profit of 13.4 billion euros. In 2022, that number climbed to 16.8 billion euros. Record margins, record executive compensation. Carlos Tavares was one of the highest-paid automotive CEOs on the planet. Meanwhile, Jeep owners were absorbing repair bills that should never exist on vehicles this new. A totally integrated power module replacement? Between $500 and $1,200. And that's if you catch it before it takes out other systems. An engine replacement on a 2.0T Wrangler out of warranty? We're talking $8,000 to $12,000. Infotainment system replacements, transmission relearns, hybrid battery diagnostics, the costs stack up fast. And here's the financial reality that doesn't show up in Stellantis' earnings reports. Jeep's resale values have taken a measurable hit. The J.D. Power Vehicle Dependability Study has consistently ranked Jeep below the industry average in recent years. Kelley Blue Book and Edmunds data both reflect accelerating depreciation on post-2018 Jeep models compared to pre-Stellantis-era vehicles. The savings didn't disappear. They were transferred from the company directly to you. The warranty costs, the repair bills, the depreciation, Stellantis externalized the true cost of their cost-cutting strategy onto the people who trusted the brand enough to buy it. The betrayal. And this is where it stops being just a business story and becomes something more personal. Because Jeep isn't just a vehicle brand, it's an identity. People don't just buy Jeeps, they join a community. They put the duck on the door handle. They wave at other Jeep owners on the road. They plan their weekends around trails. They pass Jeeps down to their kids. The loyalty Jeep commands is extraordinary, and Stellantis knew that when they made these decisions. They knew that Jeep buyers are among the most brand-loyal customers in the automotive industry. They knew that the Jeep name carries enough emotional weight that people would absorb a certain amount of disappointment before walking away, and they used that loyalty as a buffer, a financial cushion that allowed them to degrade the product while maintaining sales volume, at least in the short term. They didn't just cut costs. They broke trust. That's not a business strategy. That's a betrayal. Of every person who saved up for their first Wrangler, of every family that bought a Grand Cherokee because they believed in what the badge stood for, of every off-road enthusiast who trusted that Jeep still meant something. The brand equity that took 80 years to build was treated as a resource to be extracted, not a legacy to be protected. The cover-up. What Stellantis doesn't want you to know. But here's the part nobody's talking about. When owners started flooding dealerships with complaints, Stellantis didn't issue immediate recalls. Instead, they quietly released Technical Service Bulletins, internal repair instructions sent directly to dealers, without notifying the public. That means thousands of Jeep owners were driving compromised vehicles, completely unaware a known fix even existed. And it gets worse. Multiple owners reported being told their failures couldn't be reproduced at the dealership, a tactic that conveniently keeps official complaint numbers artificially low and delays costly recall triggers. Meanwhile, NHTSA opened multiple investigations into Stellantis products between 2021 and 2023 alone. The paper trail is there. The pattern is undeniable. Stellantis knew, the dealers knew, and the decision was made to protect the balance sheet first and the customer second. That's not a quality control failure. That's a calculated choice. What this means for you. So what does all of this mean if you're in the market right now? Or if you already own one of these vehicles? If you're considering buying a new Jeep, the reliability data on 2018 and newer models, particularly the JL Wrangler, the 2021 and up Grand Cherokee, and the 4xe variants, should give you serious pause. The 2.0T engine in particular has a documented track record that doesn't justify the price premium. If you're set on a new Jeep, the 3.6-liter V6 in a base configuration with an extended warranty is the safer play. But even then, you're accepting more risk than you would have a decade ago. If you're considering buying used pre-2018 Jeep models, particularly the JK Wrangler, the WK2 Grand Cherokee with a 3.6, and the XJ Cherokee, represent significantly better long-term value propositions. These vehicles were built before the full weight of Stellantis cost-cutting hit the supply chain. They're not perfect, but their failure modes are well documented and generally more manageable. If you already own a post-2018 Jeep, get ahead of the known failure points. Have your TIPM inspected. Monitor your oil consumption on the 2.0T. Keep your software updated, but back up your settings before any OTA update. And seriously consider an extended warranty if you're outside the factory coverage window. If you're planning to sell or trade in within the next 2 to 3 years, understand that Jeep's depreciation curve has steepened. The market is increasingly aware of these reliability concerns, and that awareness is being priced in. Would you still buy one knowing this? That's not a rhetorical question. It's the question every potential buyer deserves an honest answer to. What to do now? All right, let's make this actionable, because information without action is just frustration. Step 1. Research before you buy. NHTSA.gov has every complaint and recall on record. Search the specific model, year, and engine combination you're considering. If a vehicle has hundreds of complaints in the same category, that's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. Step 2. Avoid the highest risk combinations. The 2.0T 4-cylinder in the JL Wrangler, the early production 2021 Grand Cherokee L, the first generation 4xe. These are the combinations where the failure data is most concentrated. Step 3. Consider older Jeeps seriously. A well-maintained 2015 or 2016 JK Wrangler with a 3.6 Pentastar is, by most reliability metrics, a better long-term investment than a 2022 model at twice the price. The off-road capability is comparable. The reliability track record is dramatically better. Step 4. If you buy new, protect yourself. Extended warranties on Stellantis products are not optional extras right now. They're risk management tools. Get one. Read the fine print. Understand what's covered. Step 5. Stay informed. The automotive landscape is shifting fast. Stellantis is under significant pressure from investors, regulators, and consumers. There are signs, early signs, that some course correction may be coming. But until the reliability data actually improves across multiple model years, the risk remains real. Jeep didn't just change, it was changed by boardroom decisions that put billion-dollar profits over the people who trusted this brand with their money and their safety. The legacy is real, the betrayal is real, and now, you know exactly why. Had electrical failures, engine problems, or dealer runarounds on your Jeep? Drop your story in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, smash that like button and subscribe for more auto content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.